05 right now. In the sex assault case against NYPD officer Michael Pena, the jury convicted him of sexual assault, and he could face life in prison. Although he was found guilty for many of the charges, he was found not guilty of rape. That's raising some serious questions here. Was justice served for the victim? And that's what we're talking about this morning. Joining me is Lynne Hecht-Schafran, Director of the National Judicial Education Program for Legal Momentum. Also with us is Donna Palomba, who is a survivor of sexual assault and founder of Jane Doe No More. Ladies, thank you so much for being with us this morning to shed some light. Well, let's start with this. Justice served. 6 convictions here with sexual assault, but none for rape. Donna?
Well, I think Donna.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I think
Lynne, go ahead.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's a yes and a no. This man was convicted of very serious crimes. He faces a very, very long sentence. He was convicted of sexual crimes, so that although he will presumably be in prison almost maybe perhaps for life, he will be a registered sex offender. The issue is why the jury did not convict of the count that related to vaginal penetration.
Yes, well, we'll get into that, and we'll talk about that, because if we feel the reasons that the Daily News is reporting, that the reason that they couldn't convict is because basically the woman, the victim, couldn't remember the color of the parked car in the courtyard where this assault
while a gun was at her head and she's fighting for her life.
I'm sorry, but in my head, I'm like, excuse me, I'm getting raped right now. I'm getting assaulted. I'm not going to remember any of my surroundings.
And that raises such a good point, because victims are in a state of trauma, and you cannot expect them to act a certain way or to remember all these different things. It's so important for victims to be treated with dignity and respect, and that they have a presumption of credibility to that victim, so that they believe them from the onset, because it makes things so much easier, and the case will progress as it should based on that.
So in some sense, she was a victim all over again.
Absolutely.
Yes, but I just want to say that there's nothing unusual about the bizarre happening among the few jurors who hung this case.
But I have to say, that's
I've
sad.
heard this.
It's
very sad.
If you're saying that there's nothing unusual about this, where we can't get a rape conviction, where not only the evidence was there, you have 2 eyewitness accounts, you have semen also in the underpanties, but they were not inside the woman's body.
Right.
But you can't get a conviction.
But I can show you a case that we were involved in from New Jersey, I beg your pardon, from Pennsylvania, where a federal district court judge faulted a rape victim because he said she wasn't believable, because when the rapist had a gun to her head, she did not reach out and press a panic button that was within arm's reach.
So what's wrong in the system here, Donna? Is it the legal system? Is it our jurors? Is it the lawyer for bringing up the reasonable doubt?
It's
all of the above?
It's all of the above, Francis. It's society as a whole. We need to understand this crime much better. It is misunderstood, and therefore it is underreported, and it affects us all, and that's something we all need to realize.
I'm glad you bring that up, because when you have a case like this, now, no conviction of rape, what will this do? A, will it silence the victim? Is it going to empower potential rapists out there saying, hey, look what happens in New York City?
You're right. You're right.
Well, this is what happens everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Right. The vast majority of rapes are not reported. Those that are reported are not prosecuted. The data shows that about 97% of people who commit rape never spend a day in jail.
And, you know, an inside source from the DA's office here says that 70%, there's a conviction rate of 70%, but that means 30% of the rapists are out there on our streets right now.
And that's only the ones that ever make it.
I wish we could go on and talk about this, as I'm sure many are, as this case continues and continues to infuriate ladies like you and a lot of women out there, especially victims. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Francis.
We want to thank Donna Palomba from the organization Jane Doe No More, and also Lynne Hecht-Schafran from Legal Momentum for coming in. Your time is now 7:09. Tamsin?